Hey, everybody, welcome to another awesome episode of MD Power Hour, starring Lord, Sir, King, Giles, Tiger, Thomas, and me, Ron Harris. And today I have a very special guest joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada, the one and only Milos, the Mind, Sarcev. What's up?
I have to do the Giles thing.
Yeah, he looks very thoughtful.
Anyway, good to see you guys. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you because I never had a chance to discuss the results of everything. So here I am.
Congratulations, first of all. This is your biggest win as a coach so far, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You got the Arnold Classic. And Giles pointed out, in 35 years, this is the first time a Brit has won the Arnold Classic, Ohio.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising, right? I didn't even think of that fact, but when you guys start talking first time, let me tell you, as you already know, that's not the only victory that is going to go your way, So he has established himself right now, and yeah.
Take it away, Giles.
Many other trophies, including Sando, might be coming. I'm sure that Samson carried that trophy in his lap all the way through, right?
I would. Oh man, yeah. So, Giles, you want to lead off with your questions?
Yeah. Oh, we're doing questions, are we? Okay. I thought we'd just have
whatever you want. It's power hour. We can do
right. Okay. Well, we'll come to Samson because you obviously want to talk about that. That's one of the bulk of the things you want to talk about. But you've got guys in the Arnold with big fan bases like you had Nick Walker, Andrew Jack, and Rami. I mean, those guys have got like a legion, an army of followers that are completely dedicated to them. I don't think most of them are actually even bodybuilding fans. They're just fans of that individual. So, of course, they are blinkered. They are biased. But you know what? I've been having a back and forth with several Rami fans, and they've been pointing out the injustice they feel that Rami wasn't. Like, as soon as he came in, they moved him to the right before he even had a chance to hit a pose. And at first I was like, well, you're going to say that, you're upset, whatever. But the more I've been looking at it and thinking about it, and some of these guys, they seem quite well informed. They've really been kind of like pleading the case, sending me video clips. I kind of starting to see maybe they do have a point because I've been really scrutinizing it. And Rami did look really good. I mean, the arms were still down, but the calves, the lower lats, I saw really big improvements. The condition was fantastic. I think this is kind of the best he's looked since the 2020 Olympia. And I just wondered, given that you, Milos, and you, Ron, were both there, what was the general feeling that you felt individually and also collectively that with what happened to Rami and where he was placed in the judging? What are your feelings on that? And because obviously that indicates to the other judges that Steve or whatever didn't want him in the top three. So what's your feelings?
It's not like Steve didn't want him in the top three, but you got to understand, differences between those guys could be minuscule. I'm more aesthetically pleasing than Rami. There's no question about it. They're big enough. There's no question about it. And they were conditioned enough. So right there and then, we can argue. I said this in the other podcast. I wish that he was given a couple of poses chance, or maybe brought in and examine a little bit more. But at the finals, that was top four. They didn't call just top three. That was clearly top four, and they gave him a shot. And I think at the finals, he looked better. For these people that they're arguing, I mean, for years back in 1990s, I was complaining, and sometimes maybe I don't get the call out with you remember back in the day, there was top three, the three guys are coming out, and there was a few shows that they would call just Flex and Ronnie, and they didn't call me. I was clearly third, but they didn't call me. And I was offended, like, oh, well, listen, they can, they would beat me. They're better than me. And they would just give me a chance to fight, give me a chance to compete. And, you can ignore me, but I'm there at least. Well, now I wish that in this show, they had a Rami and Nick direct comparison, just those two, and Andrew and Samson, just those two. Anybody would want to be interested to see just that, right? So when you have those four guys, it kind of spreads attention everywhere, and then those Rami fans are going to say that they didn't give him an honest shot. At the prejudging, 10 judges, 2 highs, 2 lows are erased, and Rami didn't have a perfect fourth place finisher score. He had a few points lost. So 1 point lost, I think. But 1 point means that 3 judges saw Sean beating him.
Yeah.
So you understand that when they have a 120-pound guy, 120-pound less smaller guy still beats you, that tells you that, okay, his shape is not so favorable.
Yeah.
So shape of Samson and Andrew are much more favorable than Rami. Rami is big Rami, overwhelmed with size. And that's how he was winning the shows. Let's face it.
Yeah.
The way he was winning the shows, he overwhelmed with size, with that width and woo, okay, wow factor. This is it. Don't forget, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, he was not winning the shows. Okay. And back then we were talking, Rami is so good, he can possibly win if he just nails it. I was talking about it, just condition him, starve him to death, deplete him and put him on the show, just get him in condition, right?
Yeah.
Well, then he did, and then he slipped at Olympia, okay? And now he's coming back to Arnold. Can he regain what he used to have? I think he improved, by all means. I think he improved, but now for the first time, he's facing guys just as tall or taller than him and just as wide in the upper body. Okay, they still don't have that crazy legs, but I don't think it was knock on Rami. I think the judges gave him a fair chance. I just wish there was a Nick and Rami direct comparison, because I think that would be super interesting to see.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to even say, because I didn't really judge. I was too focused on Samson, and then I was focused on Samson and Andrew and Samson and Nick. This kind of comparison, right? I already kind of eliminated Rami from direct comparison with Samson. I think that he was beating him on that just beautiful shape and completeness and balance up and down, front and back and side to side. This is how I saw it. And we're going to talk in detail. I know that you guys maybe saw Andrew winning after the prejudging and all that stuff. We can talk in these details.
Sorry to interrupt. Day one, I thought, purely from what I was reading on social media, seeing and people's comments, and the general consensus was that Andrew was in the lead day one. So obviously I was surprised when I saw that Samson won straight first both days. But when I saw Samson on the live stream, I actually think that Samson did actually have a clear win.
But Giles, I mean, I'm gonna say it the way you need to hear it. How can you possibly be influenced by what is said on social media and what idiots are talking?
No. I'm saying that was the general feeling of what I was feeling. That's what I was getting the impression. Everyone was kind of just a general feeling that I'm not saying that's where I had him. I'm just saying that was the feeling everyone was like, okay, Andrew's in the lead. The way the judges are positioning him, they've got him in the lead, and that is what everyone thinks.
I know that by the prejudging positioning, let me clarify, because maybe if you didn't see it, when they had a top 5, before first pose, they switched Rami and Samson and put Samson in the middle and Rami all the way to the side. And he stayed there throughout the whole posing. You know how if Steve Weinberger sees that, okay, that's not convincing, he would replace the position with the guy that he thinks maybe is winning. So that call out, Samson was in a dead center from beginning to the end. So that was very good indication. They didn't move him. They see him there. Okay. And then at the end, they had a top 3 with everybody going in the middle. So they were giving a chance to everyone. So just by that alone, politically, when I'm looking just what the judges are saying, I didn't think that they have anybody other than Samson right there. They might consider, okay.
I said after I said from what I was looking at, what I'd seen, I said, look, I think Andrew peaked on day one, and but Samson could get better, and I'm hoping that he peaks for day 2, because if he does, then he will pull ahead and he will beat Andrew. Because Samson, for me, he came back better the next day with a better tan, better sheen. He was tighter, he was fuller. His front double bicep, I thought, was beat by Andrews on day 1, but day 2, Samson definitely took him on the front double. But it was night and day, and I was really glad Did
You
he
know?
manage to do what he needed to do to look better on day 2 and seal the deal and win, which is what he did. But obviously the judges had him first both days. So there you go.
Yeah, major thing. And Ron, being not, I think you speak. I'll let you speak right after this. They would say, like, oh, he was fading in the prejudging and everything else. I don't know if you've seen. He walked off the stage like 3 times. Samson.
Oh.
Samson. Initially, when he came in, it was good, but he was losing the oil, and that's constantly what is happening. That was happening in Boston. Marlena used 2 bottles of goddamn oil, and so it still happened. Like, after it happened, we paid attention. We were doing this. And by the time she applied and she goes to the audience, and I'm going to the audience, William Bonner calls me. It's Milos. I said, look at Samson. He's dry to the bone. Like, oh my God, they just put the oil. So you have to run back and put the oil again. That was Boston.
Holy shit.
Same thing was happening here. I mean, as soon as he walked out, I'm always eyeing. You have to stay tight, be in lineup, legs, abs, shoulders, everything. You have to be. This judge is going to glance. They're going to want to be reassured. They saw you there. They saw you ready. They saw you, powerful, separated, lean. He was gone. I said, where are you? He was going to get oil, and nobody was behind the stage to give him oil. So he went 3 times looking at the, telling her, she goes, I don't have oil. I said, oh, shit. So, speaking to the, further, in the future, promoters and show organizers, they should have ladies with this oil right there on the stage. If somebody needs a touch-up, they need a touch-up, because let me tell you, yes, he created the illusion like, oh, he's softening or fading. Andrew had a perfect glaze. Nick has it, right? So you can see it like, oh, yeah. They were criticizing me back in the day, like in the 90s. Back in the 90s, we used so much oil. We did. Look at all of my videos and pictures that we did, because oil exemplifies more. So this is the thing. But look, this is kind of look that we were going for. I knew you guys were there when I interrupted your Olympia post show review. You remember the first thing that I said?
Yeah.
It was that question: how does Nick's physique beat Samson's physique? And I formulated this for a reason. I didn't say that Nick didn't deserve it. I just wanted to hear what you say. And Jose responded by conditioning. Okay, let's go by conditioning. Going into this show, I know that we're not going to contest his conditioning, because already the pictures that he was posting, you could see he was bone dry, 0 fat. Oh my God, everything. But already you could see it where he was leading. Legs were disappearing, and I've seen it. And when I discussed with Samson, I said, "Look, Nick's legs." I mean, maybe he didn't realize this. When you're like this, just conditioning, dryness, lean. You can't look at the contest from that one aspect. No, and I said this story. You guys heard it. I repeated. I'm going to say it again. 1994. I posted a picture today on Instagram. From my 94, I was best conditioned I've ever been in my life, considering the dryness, leanness, all that stuff. And then Joe Wheeler himself opened my eyes to tell me it's much more to conditioning than just being lean and dry. 20 pounds heavier a month later, he told me this physique would beat that physique any day. And I realized, oh my God, it is. Because when you see how much I compromise here, 20 pounds on that frame was a huge thing, right? And 20 pounds of fullness in the chest, shoulders, arms created the illusion of a better guy. So would Nick look better if he didn't go for crazy conditioning? He was already very conditioned at Olympia, and they saw him highest placing, right? I think that was probably better call for him. He's a mutant. He's a freak. He's going to outmuscle. He's going to, just like...
Hang on, though. He said, I saw a post today. He said he really wanted, for the Arnold Classic, he really wanted to work on his midsection. And I think he knew he had to bring it down a little bit more. So I think it wasn't just condition. I think he was trying to get his body weight down to try and streamline the midsection to make him look better. I think that was his approach. I think he knows he can get condition. But I think I went for this Arnold look because he wants to bring the midsection down.
But here it is. Losing the midsection and losing legs along with it, what did you get?
That's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, as he was losing it, I don't know if you noticed. For me, I'm analyst. I'm not bias coach. I'm watching everything. I knew that there was going. He could not control his abs as good as he did in the other shows.
Okay.
He might not have a small waist, but he had the deep abs and he was always in control. There was many times you can catch if you review the even going into a pose ab shot, it was not there. And then at the very end, it came in, but it was not the same. Like I saw him pose in the gym here, before the Olympia. And I know I analyzed him. The 2021 when he won Arnold Classic, his performance on the stage was phenomenal. I said he won within 13 seconds of being on stage. Abs never relaxed from beginning to the end. This time you could see it. This time,
why is he gone
because
back?
probably he was down so much, and now you try to eat up a little bit to fill up a little bit, and now you might be too sensitive. Maybe there was too many days, and now of low, and now all this food. You would want to assume that everything is going to physiologically work perfectly. You're going to digest your food that you normally, even if you do exact same food. Well, it's not always so. And I think that was kind of the case. So for me, I was counting on this. Even if Nick gets us on conditioning a little bit, it's not going to be dramatic change. These lights are going to be good. I knew for it. And I know that at Arnold Classic, I mean, I've been talking so much shit, right, about symmetry round aesthetics and all this stuff. And even though they don't judge it the way I would want them to judge it, maybe it got them a little bit attention that maybe, there are those 4 poses. It's not just 8 mandatory poses. There's front, back, and both sides. There's 12 poses now that we're judging. And I know that these 4 poses, Samson's going to fare very well and probably winning. I know that front relax, Andrew Jack could be dangerous if Andrew Jack that I know of 2 weeks before the Texas show, much bigger version would show up. I knew with Andrew Jack, they have to go for conditioning because 3-4 times that he showed up, he never was really conditioned. So if they go for conditioning and you have 8 weeks to prepare, what does that mean? They're going to dig him down and he's going to lose the pop and fullness and, on 6'2" frame with the shoulders like this, you might look kind of stringy. And not to say that he's stringy, but when you see the thickness and overall development, muscle development of Samson and Andrew, you could see it, especially if you were there, like Ron and I were, when they turn around. Okay, so you're in the pose, and pose could look very good for Andrew because he mastered the frontal biceps, I think, front lat spread, okay. But even front lat spread was not as dominant as he used to be when he opens up and he's filled up. He didn't, I don't know if you've seen, he didn't open the right leg all the way, and he was considerably smaller.
People comment on
there it is. And then his leg volume, he had a very good separation and feathers, but you could see the legs next to the tree trunks of Samson were not comparable. And
Samson made him look like he needs another 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. I didn't say it. But then when they turned to the side, there was especially apparent side thickness is where Andrew was losing. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Samson, when did Samson weigh 297? How
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. So what do you estimate, or do you know, was he by the time he hit the stage?
I mean, of course, when you dehydrate a little bit, you lose some. And
go up or down. Give
you lose some, you lose it. But, when you also carb up, you gain some.
Yeah.
Look, we don't bring the scale. It's not important. And I said it many times. People don't believe it. For the Olympia, he never stepped on the scale until they were going to the airport. And that's what he was planning this time before the airport. And I kind of, because he was in so much better condition, right? Leaner, as I was watching him every single day. We had midnight my time, 8:00 your time. I was watching him every day. And I see it and I see it. And, when you're kind of depleted, maybe he didn't look as big to me, but Marlena, and he said, no, he feels bigger. And I saw like, oh shit, if he steps on the scale and he's not as heavy, he might, mess up with his head. But instead, he was 297 Tuesday morning. I said, oh, that's beautiful. Because you're bigger.
Do you have a guess? Maybe if I was to push you, do you think
292? I thought it was 292. I thought it maybe he dropped a little bit. I thought,
wow.
Yeah, but listen, Ron is quite sharp of the estimating somebody's weight. You did this in front of me many times. Yeah. You guessed my weight and you guessed many people's weight, but you couldn't guess Samson. Right. Because Samson did it for me also. Initially, when we started working, he was claiming the weight that I didn't see it. I said, like, oh, it doesn't look that heavy. But he was stepping on the scale every time. And he is. I'm very much mesomorphic, big bones, and I'm heavier than I look, on the stage. But to make a long story short about this for Samson, I mean, for me to say I was confident he's going to win, it would sound like, shit. I really felt it. I mean, I kept saying this since the Olympia. I knew he was noticed at Olympia. You guys are historians of the sport. What was happening with Ronnie Coleman back in 90 when he started 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay. Yeah. 97, they start noticing him. 97, they finally noticed him with the European Grand Prix Tour when he beat us all in Russia. And from that point on, 98, I competed with him on all the shows, 98. He lost to Kevin in the first show, only Kevin in San Francisco, but then he beat him in Canada and other champions. And from then was show over. Now he has arrived, they've seen Ronnie, and they realize oh shit, that was there. Jay Cutler, 98, 99, 2000, okay. 2001, he has arrived. Once he had arrived, that was it. I knew that Samson had arrived at Olympia, even though sixth place might not sound like, oh, shit, yeah, this is something. He was noticed. For me, listen, yeah, but not just that. For me now, maybe my biased coach opinion of him being third at Olympia has a little bit more weight to it, because everything that I was basing my opinions on was what just happened here. He's way too balanced, way too shapely, way too big, thick, wide, nothing missing, right? Conditioning was still not at the level of this guy or that guy yet. They could maybe beat him on this kind of conditioning. But I had a Gaspari 2-3 days ago. I asked him, Rich, were you ever better conditioned than Lee Haney? As I was always better conditioned than him. Did you ever beat him? He never beat him. So Lee Haney was Lee Haney, right? And, that's what you bring. That's why I'm putting a hashtag bodybuilding. Okay. So bodybuilding. Samson is bodybuilding. Okay. Let's face it. So
Nick and Samson are kind of like a bit like the new Haney Gaspari, aren't they?
It could be. This can go on and on and on. Listen, they would say, oh, maybe now they have a change of the guard and we are gonna, judges gonna reward aesthetic physiques and shapely, right? And stop right there. First was shapely, second was muscular, and then third was shapely again. No, at any given day, anybody can win. I mean, Nick Walker might as well win the Olympia. Yeah, if he plays to his strengths and it just overwhelms the judges and convinces them. I am all for shape of Andrew Jack, Samson, Derek Lansford, right? Brendan Curry. This is my view of bodybuilding. But that never won. Flex Wheeler never won the Olympia. Kevin Levrone never won the Olympia. Chris Cormier never won the Olympia. Those guys are close to perfect.
It's funny how people, they try to say based on the results of one show that now the judges, there's a trend. Now the judges are going for symmetry and aesthetics. I had someone who should know better messaged me a couple hours ago. He had just heard the Bob Ciccarello podcast and said Bob had said, now we're moving towards symmetry and aesthetics and shape. That's one show. You can't, the trend, you need several shows in a row for the same pattern to emerge. And we haven't seen that. And like, if you look at the top four, you have beautiful symmetrical aesthetic physique with Samson, Nick Walker, more of a mass monster, Andrew, and then Rami. So there was no consistency as far as trying to say the judges are now looking for this and they don't want that anymore.
Ron, do you remember when Sean Roden won the Olympia? We were like, right, okay, that's exactly what we did. We were like, okay, everything's going to change now. It's like small waist and aesthetics, and Cedric's going to win next year, or it's going to be Cedric versus Sean Roden, and it never happened. Obviously, but.
Yeah, but on that note, I mean, judges are judging what they see in front of the stage, on the stage. This is how I was guilty of before making some comments. Arnold Classic UK, I wasn't there. And then I've seen some footage and I was making all my comments. And then later, when I've seen even the 4K footage, I completely changed my mind. I apologize to James Hollingsted because, what I saw there was not what was here. And I can imagine what was live. So, it's tough to make this kind of judgment. We were there. For me, bias coach, Samson was hands down winner. It's not he blew them away, but he was good enough to just win. Look, this is not like basketball or football and I scored 50-0, or in basketball 120-80 by 40 points. You win by 1 point, but you win, right? I think that Samson overall, as I was telling him, look, Andrew is a little bit wider than him. So structurally, he has a little bit more of that wow when he's full. I knew he cannot possibly be full if he's going to try to be, tight. And they did a great job. Okay. From the side was apparent Samson was really dominant over Andrew. And then from the back too, especially back double biceps. If you look, I don't know why Andrew was leaning all the way back, even though his glutes supposed to be striated. That's what I heard before the show. They've seen the pictures. It was not striated. They were tighter. It was good. So for me, it was not blowout, but still Samson would beat him on those poses, right? And then go ahead.
So I saw a big improvement when I saw the article I wrote on there's a readable bicep picture from the Olympia of Samson. And I tell you what, if you look at that picture and compare it to this readable bicep at the Arnold Classic, like 11 weeks later, it's dramatic.
Yeah, you know that Samson is so motivated in improving, but Nick Walker has a crazy back double bicep. Mm-hmm. And I said that if judges give it to him, no problem. Nick Walker surprised me on Marlena is texting me. Yeah,
talking about her man.
Yeah, we're talking about your man. So lat spread improved for Nick. I like it from behind. So if Nick is, I think Nick is going to be listening, for sure. Lee Priest had a long torso, short legs. He kind of created illusion by having those posing trunks made specially to elongate legs and shorten the torso. It worked quite well. When Nick turns around to the side and to the back, you can see the shortness of the legs.
Yeah.
Okay. So from the back, when you don't see that, his legs actually look huge. Like, God damn, hamstring is going on, quad is sweeping and tie-in, hamstring glutes and stretch. I mean, he was super impressive. Okay. So he could possibly get those two poses. I don't think there would be argument. A lot of people argue that in side tricep, side chest, Nick could have beat Samson, and probably you guys too. I don't know. You go for the first impression, and there's a little bit hamstring separating, and you just look everything. Now look again. I said it on the Jake Cutler's show. Every pose calls for something. It's side chest pose. Look at the chest. Okay, front double biceps. Even though there's whole physique, right? You should, mandatory poses are there for what reason? First they had a symmetry around, don't pose, just stand there, assess shape. Now let's assess your completeness and balance and muscle development from every angle, every muscle seen from every angle. But in front of a biceps, you can really see the biceps peaking because you're flexing, and you can see the peaks and everything else. This is what you focus on mainly, but then everything else has to fit in the picture. Side chest pose. Chest is huge component of that pose. And Samson chest, as you said, Giles, it's overwhelming. I mean, if maybe before you thought he needs to improve, I think that right now probably he has the best chest in bodybuilding, full, all that stuff. So I still think that side poses, Samson won. He could be back and forth. Even Fuad, his guy, was not completely convinced that he beat the Nick on side chest and side triceps. For me, yeah. It was
Nick's chest that was his glaring weakness. That was his weakness that really showed up in the side chest. Side tricep, Samson definitely. Side chest, I don't think Nick looks that great in the side chest. Not at this Arnold, because his chest was down.
I've been hearing like Nick, Jay and manager Matt on that podcast. So even at Olympia, best side chest, Nick. I don't see it. But okay. Look, there's very few true analysts, and they're just going to go, first impression, whatever is there, okay, no. Analyze everything. Analyze aesthetic component of this pose. So the whole body aesthetically, okay, and then fill up every muscle, and it's all there, filled up, rock hard, full, dry, separated, striated, this kind of thing. Look, Nick was super competitive. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say, you sound like, walk in the park. No, shit, no. But strategizing into the show. And I touched this subject already. I'm going to touch with you guys. I know that you always, dryness. And I pulled out that video that you did run with Lee Haney. And thumbnail was stop rewarding dryness, extreme dryness. Because you competed, Giles, you competed as well. And you know how we are. We're going to just, I could still be drier. Oh, maybe I can still be a little bit more drier, and then go until, oh shit, this guy is going to be super dry. Andreas Munzer, right? So I'm going to, let me turn up the notch. This is how we get ourselves in trouble, unhealthy state. And later, everybody's can blame the judge, the coaches. You told him to do that. You guys, disregarding their health, and you just for achieving this bodybuilding is supposed to be healthy sport, body culture. You're supposed to, like Lee Haney was talking about, bring healthy a bodybuilder on a stage, right? And there's a certain level of dehydration that needs to be achieved. I know that there's going to be, come on now. Freaky cannot be healthy. And this is what I want to tell you guys. I've seen Benaziza died in front of me. 92. I've seen another NPC guy in California died backstage. Okay. And I know Andreas Munzer is no longer with us, right? Thing of that nature is, consider everything. And now look, I'm not saying that guys shouldn't be dry and all this stuff.
Hang on. That's not conditioning, that's diuretics. You can get extreme condition without having to resort to extreme diuretics and doing it dangerously and not doing it properly. But just because you're dry doesn't necessarily mean you're unhealthy. It just means that some of those guys have taken unhealthy methods to get that. But I don't necessarily agree with that.
You cannot agree all you want. I've been there. When I was doing a drug-free, I didn't drink water for 3 days. 3 days, 1988.
That's an unhealthy way of achieving it.
Well, but I could be drier. I can still be drier. And Jay Cutler did the same thing. And being lean and conditioned, we don't talk about, you never said lean, it's conditioning dryness. Dryness is a major aspect of bring condition on stage. Just dry him out, right? So what does it mean, dry? I'm looking at, Can you still be dry? Yes. A little bit dry, possibly yes. But now, what I'm doing, how can you naturally achieve unnatural look, extreme look on the stage? Because nobody there looks natural, right? This is extreme to the point, extreme muscle separation, striations, feathers going on. To achieve that, you have to achieve dangerous level of dehydration. Medically, I said 10% dehydration is dangerous.
Yeah, but some guys need to take diuretic because they are holding body fat and they think it's water and it's not. So they think, I'm not dry enough, I need to take more diuretics. And they still don't look dry because it's body fat they're holding.
Yeah, but that's different. Dry fat is still fat. You can be taking all the diuretics if you're fat, but still, I mean,
oh, it's just water. No, actually, it's body fat, mate.
You guys are commentators and experts, and you look, and I know I'm the same way. I would like to achieve a little bit more dryness, but now I have to consider, hold on, this can now throw the mineral balance completely off. This can cause all these other consequences. Can he even, stand up and get dizzy, a low blood pressure, or can flex because he's going to cramp? All these things. I competed 110 times and happened to me 10 times over. So I know, and I coach over 1,000 people probably by now, so I know how that is. But this is extreme level Olympia, Arnold Classic, right? And you're looking at best of the best. So it's very easy. If I'm a chicken shit coach, let me give you one more. Let me give you a little bit more. Oh, and then a little bit more, because this guy's going to do it. Please, think about that. So I'm delighted to see the judges were looking what they were looking, and they get him first across the board. He was not as dry, maybe, and as conditioned as the other two, but it was good enough.
Check the box.
Like I said, Lee Haney was beating Gaspari every time.
There you go.
Ross, I think a lot of the fans don't understand. It's a total package that they're looking for. So they'll fixate, especially if they're a fan of one particular guy, and he's a massive guy. Let's say we're talking about Rami. They'll fixate on the mass aspect and say he was twice the size of everybody else on stage. He should have been the winner. And then somebody else, if they're a fan of someone else, they'll say he was twice as hard and grainy and dry. He should have been the winner. But the judges have a very, very hard task trying to sort out all these components and who has the best mix of everything. That was one of the toughest top threes I think I've seen in 10 or 15 years. It was very close.
I'm curious because I haven't checked properly through the live stream, but did Rami even hit a pose before they moved him to outside the top three?
No.
So they made the decision based upon how he looked relaxed in the lineup.
No, they have that 1 minute posing routine. I mean, presentation. They do have that. Okay.
Right. So you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Did they do that? No, I think they just came out in groups and they did.
No, they did. They did one by one. Yeah, I know.
They did one by one. Where was that? In the bathroom.
They all decided that Rami
they did. That's like a part of the prejudging. Otherwise you can jump on Bob Cicherillo again. Like, what the hell you pull that out too? I just okay. I posted on my Instagram. Anybody can see it. 85 poses of Samson Dauda at the free posing routine. 85. I actually screenshot every one of them, and I was like, "Oh my God, please be under 90 because there's only 9 pictures you can put, and you have only 10 frames." And he's like, "Oh, I just squeaked in."
Brilliant.
So the thing that I was constantly saying, it's not Mr. 8 mandatory poses contest, is bodybuilding contest. So here he presented 85 poses, okay, that glorify his physique and the balance and the strength that he has, thickness, size, shape, everything. Judges saw that. I still think they should put a number, behind the symmetry and, okay, that's aesthetics. We clarify this, then muscularity, and then at the final show, now they're coming in like this. Now there is suspense. They had this 2 rounds already in mandatories. which normally is enough. It's been enough for the last few years. Okay. But that final show, when somebody comes in and shows all these kind of poses other than mandatories, and judges will say, wow, this guy convinced me. Let me move him up. So if he moves up that guy over me, next time I'm competing, I'm going to think, shit, I'm not going to let him, beat me on that one. Let me present my physique also to my advantages, right? And then we are raising the bar and making it more interesting for everybody. This is what I was saying. It's not best performance. I'm still shocked that Samson didn't get the best poser award, but best poser award is not best posing routine, best physique there. They were just maybe looking at entertaining factor, whatever. They like his splits, and they didn't deeply consider it. But that's one of the best routines I've seen in a long, long time. And the reason why I would point out to my Instagram and look at that, I pinned it on the top. To do the screenshot, I did like every second, boop, 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 right? There was not a moment that Samson was in any other non-favorable position, breathing out, losing the stomach, dropping the shoulder, losing everything, right? That was masterpiece from beginning to the end, showing sequences of poses, transitions, drama, aesthetics, power. This is what bodybuilding is. I mean, you're going to see me hashtag bodybuilding all year long because I want to make bodybuilding better again and interesting again, right? And for Rami's fans, when they say, oh, Rami is the biggest, he won 2 times Olympic. Yeah. Biggest, he has his strengths and attributes. It's just not enough. He still needs to work on maybe a little bit better shape, a little bit better balance, a little bit, more conditioning, and there you go.
I mean, for me, Rami, he was a clear fourth to me just because from the front, when he's in the relaxed position or he's in the front lat spread, there's a square shape to his delts. It's very distracting. I'm not saying he's putting anything in there. It's just whatever that shape is, whether it's natural or because of something else, it was very distracting. It's not a really round, full cap like a delt's supposed to have. And to me, his legs are too big. I would advise him, and he's not going to listen to me, or Chad, who's not going to listen to me, to downsize his legs just a little bit. They're so huge. It's like a distraction. It's like all I could look at was these ridiculous quads taking up half the stage.
Sorry to interrupt. He just went for it for this Arnold, didn't he? I think they just went, you know what? We came in too small for it. We mistimed it. Let's just get everything as big as possible. Let's just get you over 300 and let's show him why you're called Big Rami. Because his quads, they were almost back to how they were a few years ago, where they were too big. Yeah. The thing is, then, in his defense, he has brought up his glutes, his hams, his calves. And how did he get his calves back? I thought that his gastrocnemius was gone, but if you look at especially his left one, his left calf is back. Yeah. I mean, he got the lower lats. I thought the lower lats were back a little bit. The triceps look good in a readable bicep because like the Olympia, they were flat, but now they've got a bit of a hang. I think the only thing that he needs to sort of address now is his arms now, because his arms do look smaller than they did before.
How did he get those dents in his quads are gone?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Wonderful. I'm so happy for him. I mean, I love Rami. I love everything about this man, right? And he came out of nowhere. He managed to win. See the calves. Let me see the calves go up. Oh, yeah. That looks good.
Yeah.
I thought once, like Dennis Wolf, once they're gone. It's just shin. It just goes straight down. Yeah. So, yeah, they're not like back to completely how they were, but I mean, like there's serious improvements there. I'm really impressed with what he's done in 10 weeks. But like I said, it's just the triceps now.
Yeah.
If he can get anything, if he can get everything back, then I think he's back in the fight.
Yeah, they gave him a chance at the finals. I mean, there was a top 4 comparison. I mean, yeah, he was positioned outside. Judges put him there and still compare him. It's not like they didn't give him a chance. So maybe he just I don't know. Chad and Dennis and Rami, if they talk to judges, they can hear their feedback what he needs to improve. But he came majorly improved this time.
What was your feelings on Clarida?
I love Clarida. I mean, but I don't want to sound bad, put in his place. He is put in his place. maybe he envisioned that he can slide these kind of giants. No, you can't. You're 120 pounds deficient, 120 pounds of muscle that is very visible. If you need to imagine pound for pound, we're going to project and imagine what if you would be 6 foot tall. And if you're 6 foot tall, you would be like this. Alone, when you look at the pictures, he's super complete, perfect bodybuilder. The little on the narrow side, and chest are not maybe fully developed and big like for his delts and arms. And then his lats are not really, that wide. And you can see a major downfall for him is front lat spread. You can see that there he was really lacking front lat spread. If you think about it, just go through the pictures, you'll see it. This is why we have classes in all the amateur shows and the nationals. That's where you belong. Why do they even make those classes if it's open for everybody? And then somebody would say, like, let's get rid of 212. No, 212 is there for a reason, this kind of reason. He is complete, beautiful physique, like Flex Lewis was, and Flex was winning 7 Olympias. Would Flex necessarily win open division? We all wanted to see it. We were hoping for it. But, that's a big question mark when you have 297 pounds and when you're not.
2 things. I mean, you talk about his height, but Hadi and Derek are 1 and 2 in the Olympia. They're only a couple of inches taller.
Yeah.
So
they're taller, but
they have clavicles out to here. It's a structural thing with Sean.
Lunsford does. Yeah. But there's not. It's not really an argument for knocking him out of the top 4, the top 5, whatever. I mean, he
wasn't. He was only 3 points away from Ronnie on Friday night.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Also, Milos. I spoke to Sean yesterday, and he's expressing. I managed to get him expressing interest in doing the Masters, Olympias, and Open. What do you think?
Oh, hell yeah!
And if he won that, he would have won.
Is he old enough?
He's 40. He's 40.
He would have won pro categories in 3 different pro shows in 3 different categories. 212.
I'm a huge fan of Sean. I'm a huge fan. I always will be. There's no question about this. And I say this story. It's still in front of my eyes when he was posing in Reno in this gym, and I was there in the posing room. He was the most freakiest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. Shredded beef round, bursting, when muscle is bursting out of his skin and he's ripped. Yeah. So we have bodybuilders at heart. We appreciate that, respect it. But he didn't beat Regan Grimes at that show. They gave it to him. It was interesting. That was okay. The way Derek Lansford beat him at Olympia 2 weeks prior is exact way how Regan Grimes beat him at the Reno show that just didn't, make it happen. Sean Clarita was way, way better condition from the front and side that Derek was at Olympia. From the back, Derek held on conditioning department as well. But structure and width killed Sean. And that's why the judges went with him. Well, Regan is bigger, taller version of Derek. And he was conditioned in Reno. Maybe, again, slightly conditioning would go to the favor of Sean, but it was still 70, 80 pounds of muscle difference and width and structure. This is what I'm talking. So, how going into the shows, many people say, oh, Sean can win because pound for pound. No, pound for pound, he is still not the best bodybuilder in the world. He doesn't have a width. If you don't have a width, you don't have a front relax. You don't have a front lat spread. You don't have a back lat spread.
Did Phil Heath have width?
Not like you don't have. You don't have good enough to win over these guys.
Right. Did Phil Heath have width?
No, but just enough. Flex Wheeler, our best version of Flex Wheeler was 93 Arnold Classic. He was extremely narrow. At 93 Arnold Classic, when you look at him, 93 Ironman, he looked, filled and good. I love 93 Ironman pro debut of Flex when he beat Labrada.
20 pounds, didn't he? He lost 20 pounds in like a couple of weeks, he told me.
Yeah, but that cost him, right?
Yeah.
And he was narrow. So, I don't know. Well, I think when we talk, what do we talk? V taper. V taper means wide at the top. X frame, wide at the top. You know, wide. You're not wide.
Yep.
So how can you expect to win?
Tell me when Sean Clarida hits a front double bicep, he looks like he's got no taper.
Yeah. Sean is listen. There was
Not front relax and the front lat spread. The front double bicep, he looks his shoulder to waist is just a pure V. You know.
Yeah,
he looks excellent by all means. But somebody was saying, okay, he looked like a left side of Rami. You know,
so rude.
I mean, it's really people are rude, but you know, when there is, you laugh because
side Marcus Rule would have won an Olympia, though, wouldn't it?
True.
Hey,
True.
180 and 310. It's 130-pound difference.
Yeah, that's what Sean used to be, 130 pounds. So yeah.
You know, so no, but I just put can he win some other pro shows? Possibly.
Oh, for sure.
Would I encourage him? I don't know. Masters make all the sense in the world if I didn't know that he is old enough. And
they just dropped it from 45 to 40 to get more people. Yeah.
So Milos, sorry, just to throw you onto that subject whilst we've got a few minutes left. Who would you like to see?
Why a few minutes? I have all day.
No, we've got plenty of time. I just want to throw this at you now because it's fresh in my head. Who would you like? Now it's all been, every single division's been lowered to 40. None of this 45. And it was over 45 in the Masters. Sorry, the Open, the 212, and I forget the other one. But who would you like to see jump into this? I mean, just imagine. I mean, I don't know. I suppose the prize money will be a deciding factor for many of these guys.
I talked to Max Charles.
But who would you? Oh, Max Charles,
Yeah.
Phil Clay. Who would you like to see?
I mean, Victor Martinez. I talked to him. I tried to convince him, but he says he doesn't want to compete for a T-shirt and the peanuts. Who? I mean, Kamal is going to do it for sure. You know, Kamal.
Johnny Jackson. Hidetada's going to
Johnny
do
Jackson. Yeah, Johnny Jackson. Yes, for sure.
Hidetada's. Who's that?
Darren Charles. I think is he coming back?
Oh yeah, Darren too. Branch Warren. I talked to him. He says he's not going to do it. He's going to help Johnny prepare, but he's not going to do it.
Flavio.
Oh, yeah, Flavio.
Yeah.
What's Flavio up to? Flavio's got to be like 60 by now, at least.
He's over 60. Yeah.
Got to be. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Milos? What about you?
No way. My competitive spirit is long gone because I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get in shape for myself, right? But not for a contest. No way.
Ron, he's going to get in shape. He's going to say he's getting in shape, and then he's going to turn up in Romania.
Yeah, exactly. No chance.
We actually,
last time, you know that story. Last time I wanted to do that was 2006 Romania Grand Prix.
Yep.
You know, I didn't tell anybody. I was just like, okay, I'm going to pull that Arnold Schwarzenegger thing in Australia when he just was a commentator. I was supposed to be MC of the show. I was emceeing the show.
So cool.
But I was going to just pick the goddamn number, and Jay Cutler spoiled it for me.
What do you do?
You know the story. You know, he caught. I shaved. You know, because I was too busy in what was it? Vienna, Austria Grand Prix. I had 5 guys. I had Dennis James and Hida and 5 guys. So I couldn't do that. But in Romania, only Hida was coming. So we came early. And I took diuretic. Okay. And I said, "Oh shit, I'm bone dry and lean." You know when you don't really deplete. And then I was in the banquet at the Vienna show. I had like 8 apple pie strudels and all this stuff. I was so full. I was one of my best conditions ever. And I shaved everything, but I just needed my back to be shaved. But phone ring. And it was Jay Cutler. Said, Milos, can you do me a favor? I said, what? You know, can you put the collar on me? And I said, okay, you know, that's gonna. And when he came in, I was just in a posing trunks, no pants, you know, white as a ghost.
Yeah, I remember
that. And he didn't ask me like what I was doing, but I was going to ask my now wife. She was there with Hida as a helper to shave my back. And now she reminded me. Actually, when Jay left, I still told her to come back and shave it. And then she came back to the room, but I said I changed my mind. You know?
No.
Yeah, see, I forgot that part.
No.
I forgot that part. I honestly think
Oh.
I would have qualified for Olympia. I would be third at that show.
Wow.
The way I looked, yeah. But then I got suspended, and then I never made it to 2007 Ironman and other shows. But okay, I didn't ask you guys, so now let me interview. Ron, who do you think won? Who do you have after prejudging? Who do you have after finals?
After judging, I was leaning toward Andrew, to be honest with you.
Hmm?
I thought it was very, very close, but I thought Andrew had a slight edge over Andrew. Over Samson. I thought Nick looked really good. For the finals, I did see Samson taking it. I thought he improved, and Samson was a little flatter. Nick looked pretty much the same. It was a tight race. It was one of the best top threes. I would not have been overly upset if any of those guys had won. I really wouldn't. Like if Andrew had won, I would have been happy. Nick won, happy. Samson, and I am happy Samson won.
Yeah.
3 very different physiques. They say Andrew and Samson are similar. To me, they're not that similar. They're the height and things. There are similarities, but Samson's got it's a different shape. It's a very different shape. He's thicker. I think Andrew, he still doesn't look completely filled out to me. I think he needs another maybe 10 pounds before he's really done. He's got such long arms, long legs. He wows you with his structure. That lat spread is crazy, but you can see where there's gaps where he needs to fill things in.
Yeah, but on that note, I mean, that's why based on, he needs at least 10 pounds, and Giles, you said 15, 20 pounds, if that was missing and he is lengthy, right? How could you still give him over complete Samson? Just on a little bit drier conditioning,
Friday he was.
So those are things to consider, right? You have to look every aspect. Okay, dryness. Okay, how about fullness? How did he fill up the frame? How did he look from the side view, back view? I don't think even front legs, which I thought that Andrew's going to be so dominant because he's a little bit wider. I think Samson could get him on that one too in this show because of just overall thickness and completeness and balance. Then when it turned to the side, there was apparent.
Yeah,
side was dominant, and then while Samson still need to improve the back, it was still better back than Andrew's.
Yeah,
and so for me there was. Look, I'm not too confident usually. I was very confident after prejudging until goddamn Dennis James told me, hey, no. He knows Nick is leading after the prejudging. I said, what do you mean? Because, yeah, he screwed me up completely. He spoiled my dinner and everything. Like, oh.
How could he even know that, though? How could he possibly even know that?
You hear these things all the time.
Yeah, but I know. It's like I hear the judges have this and that. I'm like, how do you know? You think the judges are like, hey, come here. I want to tell you the scores so far. They keep that close to the vest. They don't go and tell you who they have in lead and who's behind, because they know everyone's nobody can keep secrets for shit in bodybuilding. You tell someone, say, don't tell anyone. 2 seconds later, it's on Instagram. So
yeah. Come to me and tell me it's a secret. You'll see on my Instagram page in 2 minutes.
Oh, so I was sitting with Jose. And Jose said to me Saturday night, he goes, I heard the judges have Samson ahead. I'm like, how'd you hear that? From who? From what? My mother's grandmother's sister told me. Come on, it's ludicrous. But
her neighbor.
Samson pulled it off. I mean, once I got over those crazy front shots of Andrews, when he turns to the side, he still needs a lot more hamstring to me. Just that front to back thickness in the back. Once he gets his posterior chain improved, I think he might be beating everybody. But right now, those are still weak points for him.
He's got lyopleitis.
Yeah.
He's going to be super competitive, for sure. But now, look at Derek Lansford and look at Hadi. I mean, Derek created that X-frame V-taper unimaginable. That differential for me, I've never seen it. Beside Brian Buchanan, your guy, his upper body had that. Derek needs to put some thickness on wheels and hardness to the chest, and more separation in the abs and all that. But hey, he was second, and not even clearly second. Some judges saw him winning. And then Hadi Choopan is super, super, super complete. And I don't care what people say. Even when you look at 2019 and 2020 and 2021, there were arguments for him winning basically all three shows. 2020, prejudging, he was not exactly there. And he's big. He's wide. When he opens up the front lat spread or a back lat spread, he is so wide. People
I think Hadi adding that 10 pounds for the Olympia, I think that was the little push he needed just to make everything, because to make up for his lack of height and to really make him suit, because he's very complete. I think he just needed that little bit of extra size. It was just enough to pull ahead of everybody else. But going back to what you were asking about the Arnold Classic, on day one, I had Andrew first because Andrew peaked on day one. He looked fantastic. And I said on that line, I said, I don't know whether he can hold that for day two, whereas I know Samson can get better. Day two, Andrew flattened out massively.
But what are you watching? Give me the front relaxed pose, him and Samson.
What? The front relaxed?
Front relaxed.
That's just how I had it. That's how I had it.
Well, but why did you have? If you had it, you have to base an opinion on the side relax. You can't possibly. There was not enough size, thickness, to do that. Okay, back relax. So all four relaxed poses should go to Samson, or maybe if you're going to give front to Andrew. Okay,
Samson looked off on the first day. He looked off for me because I knew he could be better. And on day two, he did.
Not off by no means. No stretch of imagination.
He was off, but he made it. He pulled it ahead on day two.
How was he off? With every judge.
And the tan didn't look good. The oil didn't look good. And I knew that he could come in fuller and drier, which he did for day two.
But being fuller and drier doesn't mean that you're still not winning.
He looked better.
You're still not better.
Andrew's eyes were drawing my eye more because of the way he peaked. And I said, I don't know whether he can hold that for day two. He didn't. He flattened out. He looked stringy on day two. And Samson just looked.
He looked exactly the same on the prejudging the finals.
As soon as I saw the Samson video on day two, I was like, okay, he's done what he needs to do. He's nailed it. I think he's got it.
He did what he did. But you said Andrew was stringy the second day. He was exactly the same on the first day.
No.
Looking at the score sheet.
Yeah, exactly the same. Well, Giles, I mean, you can say your opinion, but you should be an expert and look for the expert eyes. There was maybe pound difference from Friday and Saturday.
It looked more. It
didn't look more.
Visual.
It didn't look more. But the aspect why Samson beat Andrew, I told you from the beginning, Andrew had a little bit drier conditioning, a little bit leaner. Yes. I said that, yes. That's not enough to win the show. Well, he's stringy.
Andrew was better than Samson on day one, and the next day it went the other way.
Yeah, well,
the judges had Nick ahead of Andrew both days.
Yeah,
so the judges never saw Andrew as.
I was surprised. But then when I actually watched the live stream properly all the way through, see actually how Nick jumped in there. The condition was incredible.
Respectfully,
I am not a Nick fan.
Respectfully, I didn't even want to respond to you when you sent me this. Oh yeah, Andrew peaked first day, and I didn't want to even respond because I was getting argument just like right now when I'm telling you, Giles, you're supposed to be an expert.
Okay.
And you are overlooking so many poses and so many parameters. He doesn't have a thickness of a hamstring from the side in both side relax, in side tricep, side chest. Not competitive. Lost those poses.
I was surprised when Samson won straight first won. I was surprised.
He could not possibly.
Well, that's where Nick got him.
I am an Andrew Jacks fan since the moment I saw him, and you hear him, that he could be possibly Mr. Olympia, but not when he's 15 pounds lighter from already, you are just about there. Some people, you know how it is, and from a great pride, even Jake Hartley would say, he wouldn't say, there was a word you're looking at, not skinny or stringy or this and that, right? Almost like classic, borderline, if he would lose a little bit, it could be classic lines and maybe, so.
But the big guys, you can really flatten out through one day. This was
He didn't
overnight.
flatten out.
And Andrew looked very, very flat the next day. Very flat. Just lost everything, went like that the second day.
Me,
Samson just went fuller, harder, fixed the tan, the sheen, everything looked great.
I'm Andrew Jack's fan, big time fan. I love his physique.
We'll agree to disagree.
And I knew, if you see it, this is Friday. Friday is on Samson's YouTube channel before the prejudging. When I was telling him this, look, there's only one chance to leave that first impression. And you're going to be right there next to Andrew. And you're going to kill him on a thickness. Mm-hmm. That's there on his... I said it before I seen him, because I knew what is coming. Andrew was sucked up, all that stuff. There's no way possibly he can achieve this kind of conditioning and still have that fullness and pop. So he's going to sacrifice this. Okay, let's give him that. And let's give Nick that. We play to our strengths. We're going to overwhelm them with this. Mm-hmm. And it worked perfectly. You can't just go, condition, dryness.
No, it's everything. It was the whole visual. It was the whole package.
No, you were seeing what
I knew
you wanted
you'd
to
peak
see.
into day two. I knew you'd do what like Phil Heath used to do, or bloody.
No, you
I'm trying to think
saw.
of it, but he pulled it out the bag for the Saturday when he needed to.
No, you saw what you wanted to see in Andrew, like what you've seen going
Well,
into
I'm
the
a
show.
Samson fan and I'm an Andrew fan, so I'm
No,
2 weeks
but
ago.
listen,
I called Andrew Jack's hater.
I'm gonna explain to you what you saw.
Okay.
You know Andrew's physique and you know his qualities and all that stuff. If he only brings the conditioning, and now he brought the conditioning, and you thought that, it's the same Andrew with improved conditioning. No, there was much lighter Andrew, much stringier. Lost the pop, lost the thickness, fullness. In many shots than you thought previously. If you would ask me before the show, if Andrew can show up exactly the same in a perfect condition, he'll be dangerous beyond. He is an Olympia contender. We know that. Coming next few years is going to be battling for the titles. But that's why I'm telling you, Giles. I learned long ago not to be overly too excited and assuming something until I see it. I'm telling you, I consider you an expert. You saw old Andrew, as big as he was at the Texas show, okay, with a much better conditioning. You thought that that's the same with this conditioning. It wasn't. Okay, this is when you analyze, you're going to see it. I was counting on all that stuff. Yeah, because what do I gain? What do I lose with this? Nick Walker, you could see the pictures ripped to the pieces, and legs are going down every next picture he was taking. And Samson can maybe tell you, I don't want to show it right now, but I would take the picture and send it to Samson. Look at Nick's legs. They're going away. They were going away. Okay. So if non-balanced physique, that upper body is overpowering legs, continues to lose legs, and waist is not, that's what is this going to create illusion of? Okay. So you consider that. For me, and I hope Nick is going to come visit me here, I would tell him the same thing, because I'm a fan of the sport. I would like to see everybody at their best. Andrew Jack's conditioning, they did phenomenal job. Chris Aceto and Psycho, they did unbelievable job. That was good, because the whole world finally saw Andrew Jack can be ripped and dry. Okay? Up until this moment, we didn't know. But Ron says 10 pounds. You said 15, 20 pounds. And I'm saying the same thing.
He was probably down. He was probably down 10 or 15 pounds from what we saw last year at the.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Giles, I know that you're a fan of the sport, but you get overexcited. You saw Andrew as he was with the new conditioning. You didn't consider what he lost to get in that condition. I promise you that. For me, this is why, I usually always respond to you. I said, it's no point of trying to convince you because, what are you going to say? Oh, he peaked this and I got Samson a little bit tighter for, the evening. And I'm going to tell you already, for the Olympia, he needs to bring even more. The Saturday look even a little bit leaner and drier. He did not suffer. Look, okay, you guys going to say he was sixth at the two guys beat him. Nick and Big Ramy beat him at Olympia, right? Okay. And Andrew Jack was right behind him, but he's coming. So it's super dangerous, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So what are I supposed to do? You see Nick getting ripped. Sean Claudia is going to be ripped. Ask Samson when you see him next time, what was his diet? Okay. I had him on 3 days of high carbs. And when I say high carbs, you know what that means, right? What kind of and why? Okay. All right. And low carb days were never even, finally, last couple of weeks came down to 200 grams of carbs. I did not panic. I did not go just, and everybody in the world is giving me condition. You guys do your business. I'm doing mine.
Well,
thank you for advice. I've been doing this for 40 years. Please
leave
leave
me
alone.
Right? In the end, that's the look. That's the look that won. That's the look that beat everybody. So he
didn't suffer too much. Okay. But why would I suffer? Look at all these videos coming into it. Yeah. Is skin too thin? And no, not yet. But that's beautiful. It's enough. I mean, Lee Haney, I was supposed to actually call Lee Haney because Lee was so impressed with the Samson, right? And, Excalibur in the making and all that stuff.
Old school guys are really, really happy with Samson. And they're really, like Lee Haney, I saw him posting about that. But he must be really happy that this kind of, these old school attributes with the size and the conditioning of today is now starting to win big events,
Yeah. But now, on a note for Nick Walker, can he win? Yeah. Look, Jay Cutler was beating Sean and Kevin and Flex and Chris Cormier, right?
Yeah.
I tell this to Jay on his podcast. I mean, whose physiques I prefer, but I can see you winning. Okay. He brought just enough of balance and conditioning and size and everything else that he can overtake those, aesthetic guys. So I'm not saying this is impossible, far away from. So Nick is still a very much contender, but I would always prefer my type of physiques that I'm talking about.
Just because somebody beats somebody at one show doesn't mean that they're never going to be able to beat that person again. But that's how a lot of the fans, they immediately jump onto that and say, oh no, now he's never going to be able to beat so-and-so again. He'll bring a different look and you never know what's going to happen.
I said after the Olympia, I said, if Samson can just do enough to stay ahead of someone like Andrew Jack, who's also going to be improving, and he's going to keep moving forward and he's going to keep getting better because that guy is right on his heels. But so if Samson keeps improving, Andrew's going to keep improving. Do you know what I mean? They're both going to get better and better. So because I do see Andrew, like you said, I can see him being, like in the top 3 Olympia in the next couple of years. I can see it happening,
I see it this year.
Sorry?
Yeah. I don't know how he's going to qualify for this one, right? So you have to be realistic also. You guys criticize some people that compete. This was our 9th show, me and Samson. We already did 9 shows in, year and a half? Wow. Just think about it. And, okay, so you guys, you cannot peak and you cannot improve. He's the most improved guy competing 9 times already in a year and a half.
You know who says you can't peak more than once a year and you can't improve? The people that can't. That's the people that say it.
Yeah, but
Ronnie said that. Ronnie said that. He said you can't.
Ronnie said that. Yeah. I said you couldn't, Ronnie, but I've seen a lot of other guys that could. It's just it's an individual thing. So Samson's peaked perfectly. He's made those improvements while he was in prep. Yeah. He's done a lot. Guys, I'm going to give you each a final word because we need to wrap this up before you guys kill each other.
Milos, what do you think? What do you think Samson will top out at body weight? Because he went when he won Prague, he was 270. 3-4 months later, 280, 294. Now he's 297. What realistically? You must have like maybe a figure in your head of what you want to settle him at, and just kind of just chisel away at.
I promise you this.
Start to lose his aesthetics.
Yeah, I promise you this, and I'm not making this up. When I talked to Honey Rainbow on his podcast, and he is so specific, he checked the weight like 2-3 times a day and all this stuff. I would never step on a scale. It's completely irrelevant. If he was 297 or 287 for this show, if he would tell me this, okay, nice statistics. Okay. For me, really, I'm not looking. I'm looking what is in front of me. Yeah. He needs to widen his back a little bit, right? He needs to peak his back. I don't know if you notice, his triceps got much bigger. Arm looks fuller. To the point like I was like, oh shit, look at that. Yeah, I was sending him these pictures because I screenshot all our posing videos, and then I keep sending him. That I'm dying to put on Instagram, but I can't because he doesn't want me to.
Quickly. Do you know where I saw some of the biggest improvements in Samson was his calves?
The calves too, yeah. Calves too. We were doing a seated calf raises in a gym today, and that's also what I noticed. It's just like, flares out completely. Yeah.
Crazy now.
But triceps,
they're actually almost in danger of getting too big if he's not careful, because his legs are so big. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Look there. He improved the tie-in on a delt. He still needs more. Yeah, tie-in on a delts to brachialis is also showing up. He needs still more detail here, right? And striations are coming more and more, which I want to see. Abs are deeper. He's not gonna like when I said. I still don't think it's perfect control. He was showing me good control, and then it's still for me like 70-80% of control. He didn't do it exactly the way I want him to. He doesn't like. I keep saying, I'm broken record. I know people, put the T-shirt Miller's broken record and bias coach. If you're biased and you say something that is not there, it's one thing. But when you're saying what is there, it's completely other. I was saying after the Olympia, he had enough to possibly be third already at Olympia. Judges didn't see it, didn't want to see it, and conditioning was not comparable. So, okay, I understand, respect that, no problem. I thought that this was just enough perfect. And for the Olympia, he's going to need a little bit more in order to win. Yeah, but he has a chance to win. You guys know that.
But Ron, before I hand it to you, I think he needs just a tiny bit more on his back. And I think just the abs and midsection. And I think he's good to go. Phil Heath said last year on the Boston Pro live stream, he said, I feel like Samson needs more shoulders. And that's what, who was it the other week I had on the show who said that he felt that Samson needed a bit more cap on his shoulders. But I feel like
Zach just said that the other day.
Yeah, because when he does the hands clasp most muscular, the delts looks everything, chest, shoulders, everything looks beautifully in proportion. And I'm really glad, like I said, because his legs got so big last year. I thought I hope he brings his calves up as well. Otherwise, he's going to look. But if anything, now I think he needs to also slow the gains down in his calves because they're overtaking his quads. So I feel like now I think he's in a really good spot. Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, there's so many weak calves in bodybuilding that I'm always pleasantly surprised to see big calves, and especially someone who didn't have great calves suddenly get better calves through diligent work. So I don't see that as
resurrected is.
Have you ever seen calves too big? I mean, even Dorian, when you look at Dorian's calves comparing to his quads, it would be disproportionately too big, right? But again, you cannot, they're beautiful. Jesus Christ, you can't say it's ever too big.
I mean,
who was, I lie, that Frank Hausen guy?
Hauser, yeah.
Very fun, yeah.
But he had huge quads. He had huge legs overall, too.
No, he didn't. I promise you, because that was the first time, I promise you, he came to the booth, and then I was taking a picture of him and Flex Lewis on the stage. They were doing a back down biceps, and I just focused on calves. He smoked Flex's calves, and Flex's calves are one of the best. So oh, this is way too big.
Mm.
It's, you know, so it could be too big.
There is one
But-
pro. There's one guy, you know, Joel Thomas.
Yeah.
And it's not that his calves are too big. It's just he needs to bring his legs up because his legs look a bit weak. But that's the only guy I can think of. That's where it looks like. But it's more a case of him needing to bring his legs up than bring his calves down.
This is a rare problem to have. That your calves are too big. There's not many people in this sport that could say, "Oh no, my calves are too big." Anyway, yeah, let's wrap up the Power Hour that's turning into Power 90 minutes. Because it's
That's
a Power Hour.
Midnight here. Look, guys,
Hey, dude,
midnight.
The show is specially designed for your 60 minutes of cardio. So
It's impossible. You know, if I'm on the podcast,
I very much appreciate you being generous with your time, Milos. I want to congratulate you again. This was a great. Everything you've done with Samson the past year and a half has been just phenomenal. A year and a half, I did not see him as somebody that was going to be winning an Arnold Classic or in the discussion to possibly win Olympia. If you asked me that a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was like, no, I'm not that guy. So you guys are an amazing team. And of course, Marlena is an integral part.
Marlena.
What do we get to Marlena?
Because I want you because we all guilty of her Instagram. She put Marlenka, I guess, because she couldn't use the name, but she's Marlena.
I didn't
And
know that. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Marlena. And most importantly, they are getting married on Saturday, 2 days from now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to air after that. So congratulations.
That's
Congratulations. That's great. Yeah. Okay. So, Giles, thank you for staying up very late. It's almost midnight there right now. Yeah. It's very late for Giles.
Gonna go out fighting crime in Gotham now.
Yeah, he's going to change into Batman now. Milos, of course, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Always. And I like when you guys argue because you know what? If we all had if we all had the same opinion, it would be so boring. I'd be falling asleep.
Me and Milos, this is how we communicate. It's with love. It's with
Yeah,
love.
of course, with love. There's never nothing but love, but I still have to teach him a thing or two.
I was just sitting here eating my popcorn. I thought it was great. So,
Right.
yeah. So, guys, thanks for watching
Look at the pictures.
another episode. If you have comments, you guys can leave your comments, your opinions right below here. We love to hear the feedback. We do answer back. I've seen Milos even come into our video into the comments and answer you guys back. So yeah, if you wanna drop one, please do it, guys. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. We got great content on this channel. We'd like you to check it all out. And of course, thanks for watching MD Power Hour, and we'll see you right here next time.
Hey, did you like that podcast? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.